Arsenal 3, Brentford 1. And if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be very happy with that performance. No Saka, no Havertz, who are by far your two best goal scorers in 2024. The sickness bug, going 1-0 behind. Brentford away is a very difficult game. Arsenal don't have the best away record this year, but also Brentford do just have a very good home record as well. And I thought they showed some real mentality. Players like Martinelli that have been getting stick lately really stepped up. He was making, late runs into the box, doing step overs, looked a little bit like the 22-23 Martinelli today. Declan Rice obviously cramped up in the last game, and Thomas Partey comes in and arguably drops a man of the match performance. But the guy that stole the show is 17-year-old Ethan Nwaneri, playing out of position at right wing. He was unbelievable. And I think in the first half, it was very much Arsenal in control. Arsenal were okay, but it was very much same old with Arsenal. They need to create that chance. They need to find that breakthrough. They needed a killer passer or a transition threat or something. And every time something was going to happen, it was going to come through Nwaneri. He had to just be the one on the ball to make something happen. And I think Arsenal deserved the win. 1.95 XG to Brentford 0.29. Two big chances to Brentford 0. I thought Arsenal were controlled. I think once they were 2-1 up, you sort of felt that Arsenal were going to win the game because they're quite defensively solid. When it comes to out of possession, nobody really doubts Arsenal. It's just in possession, breaking the line. So not breaking lines, creating chances, breaking down the low blocks where people have had question marks around Arsenal this season, and they get the name set piece merchants, which they did score another set piece from. And it's actually ridiculous how big Arsenal are set pieces. And I'm going to talk about Ethan Nwaneri in a second because I'm amazed by how good he is. But this is all Arsenal can do. 6 points behind Liverpool. Liverpool do have the game in hand. Look, you never know. Man United could beat Liverpool, and I know you're all laughing at me saying that. I don't think we will. And then you win your next game, you're 3 points behind Liverpool with, yes, Liverpool having the game in hand, but then you go beat Liverpool. It's there. I think Liverpool are going to win the league. I think Liverpool just look too good, and they're too good in attack, and their front three just looks a level above yours. And I think with Saka missing, it's a massive loss. I think Nwaneri's nailed down right wing spot, but Saka is a massive loss. But Arsenal have the quality to challenge Liverpool right to the end, like they did with City, closed the gap for sure. I remember they went on to the Dubai trip last year. They closed the gap. They have it. It depends on Liverpool injuries if they fall off like they did under Klopp in sort of March, April time. I think Arsenal very much can push Liverpool, and all they can do is just keep getting the wins and keeping the pressure on and just hoping that Liverpool drop points. But I do think the title will go to Liverpool. I thought it was a good performance from Arsenal, and I do want to talk about Nwaneri. I do want to talk about a few things. I thought Saliba, Partey and Nwaneri were probably my three standout players. Merino did well. Jesus is doing really well at the moment. Martinelli did well. I think Martinelli's best games this season have come with Merino and Calafiori, and I do think the sort of saying that Martinelli needs the support and the left footers around him is there's definitely something there as well. I thought Arsenal were very solid. And these are my points. Why I thought it was a big win for Arsenal. I think away from home against Brentford, I said good side. No Saka, Havertz, who are the best goal scorers. There's a sick bug going around. They went 1-0 behind. It was going to be a tough game, and they showed that real intent. First half, it was a bit, a little bit same old. Second half, they came out, they showed something. The first 15 minutes of that second half, the way they came out electric. Nwaneri had part to play in two of those goals. Man of the match performance without a goal and assist, which shows how good he is for a 17-year-old. Despite the setbacks, despite the sickness, the second half performance was fantastic from them, and they were very much in control. And I think that was a bigger win than it may get credit for Arsenal, and especially if they want to keep the pressure on Liverpool and their rivals. But we have to talk about Nwaneri, because back in summer, now I know Nwaneri's a baller, but back in summer, I said Arsenal have some really good young players, but Arteta won't play them. I said that's where Aubameyang went to Man United. I said Arteta's not going to play the young players, and I was wrong, because he's played Lewis Skelly and he's played Nwaneri, and he's given them starts in Premier League games, and both of them have been fantastic. And you're absolutely blessed. You are absolutely blessed for that, because I thought you've got ballers, but I was like, Arteta, he won't start them, he won't play them. That's why Chido's left, but he did play them. He did start them, and Nwaneri and Lewis Skelly this season looked really good. We've seen Nwaneri in like the cup games like Bolton and stuff, him obviously scoring the goals and all of that. Lewis Skelly been unbelievable. He's sort of keeping Calafiori out of the team to an extent, but Calafiori did well today. Let's talk about his game numbers. 92% pass accuracy, 2 chances created. Bear in mind, the first half he was the only one I felt that was making something happen. 2 out of 3 dribbles completed, taken on his man, 2 passes into the final third, 2 crosses, he was taking the crosses, 4 touches in opposition box, 1 interception, 3 defensive actions, 2 recoveries. What I liked about Ethan Nwaneri was he was willing to have a shot. He was willing to have a cross. He was willing to give the ball away. And I felt that Arsenal could be too passive. I feel that Arsenal could be too safe at times. But with Nwaneri, he's playing out of position on the right wing, and he's got the explosiveness to play on the wing, but he's definitely better in central spaces because of the low centre of gravity, the touch, his ability in tight spaces to pick out class and his vision. But he's someone that can create. He's someone that would have that shot, would make that pass, would take on his man. And I think Arsenal particularly needed that in the first half. I think in the second half, there was a 15-minute period where Brentford were just suffocated by Arsenal. But in that first half, the intensity wasn't quite at it. The threat wasn't as much. And I thought that Ethan Nwaneri was just pivotal in everything that happened today. He's contributed to basically all the goals, particularly two. But every time he had the ball, it was, I'm going to get forward. I'm going to push forward. I'm going to make an impact. He showed the urgency and intent that I think Arsenal players have needed to show more this season, because Arsenal are fantastic defensively. They're so strong out of possession. They're so good. But sometimes there's been question marks about the urgency, the intent to really attack. And I think Arsenal have a good attack, and I think people are always nitpicking for negatives about Arsenal, for sure. It's not like it's a crisis. But you look at Arsenal and they need someone that's going to maybe an extra creator or a transition threat in there. Of course, they need to look at that in the summer, an Isak and maybe a creator for it. But when he gets the ball, he wants to make something happen. He will shoot. He will pass. And he was the key today, because every time he was on the ball, something positive happened. And it was like, and the thing that's mad is he's 17 and the Arsenal players were looking to get him on the ball because they rate him. If they didn't rate him, his teammates wouldn't pass to him, but the teammates rate him so much that every time they look up, they're looking for Nwaneri, who also really good movement off the ball to make himself available. Very intelligent. But his urgency, the skill in carrying the ball, his press resistant, could break through the press, are his standout traits. Obviously, if you've watched him in the academy, from what I've seen, unbelievable finisher as well. Didn't score today, but good in the tight spaces, likes to drive forward, very press resistant, could take on opponents, and he's very good at influencing the game. And his influence today was very good. And these were my notes on Nwaneri. I said, pace. I thought, he's not known for explosiveness, but he had the ability to go up because of the pace. He utilises both his left and right foot, seems quite two-footed. Obviously, he's known for being a small space player, technical small space player. That's what he's about. Elements of Odegaard in him, of course, but he's a bit of a mixture between Odegaard and Saka. Elements of Odegaard, but he's got a bit of Saka in him. He really does. And I think that will thrive as a number 10. I think he can do a job on the right wing because he's got those qualities. And I think to be 17 and have the qualities to play a 10 and right wing for a side as good as Arsenal in the Premier League, that's when you know there's a top player there. That's when you're like, this could be a Cole Palmer-esque player, because the confidence he plays with. When you looked at how Wenger would throw in a kid and Sir Alex would throw in a kid here and there, he looked like one of those kids that you'd see Wenger or Sir Alex throw in a kid here and there, because he played with a different levels of confidence. He was just naturally wanting to be involved and play, make an impact. He wanted the ball. The confidence he had to just take risks, receive the ball. He did not look out of place. He did not look like this was his first Premier League start. Just mentally and physically look ready, confident and ready, technical skills, or he's always obviously had them in the academies, that's been shown. But there was other players I thought that were slowing the momentum a bit. But Nwaneri was picking it up. And to have that sort of head on him at such a young age, it reminded me of a player that Sir Alex would bring in, that Wenger would bring in. I thought he was unbelievable, and he was going to be Arsenal's best chance at breaking out the low blocks. Now, I could talk about Nwaneri for ages, but let's talk about my general thoughts on the game. So I said Brentford's going to be a difficult game, and Arsenal deserved the win in the end. Chance goes in the first 30 minutes. It wasn't like bad, but Arsenal definitely got better as the game went on. The momentum after the goal sort of played a part in that. Nwaneri played a part in that, and he made a difference, as I said. I thought Thomas Partey was excellent. I think Thomas Partey's had a fantastic season this year. He's probably been better than Rice this season. I thought today he was excellent, off the ball, doing the job, winning it back. I felt that Arsenal were always in control. They were winning the duels. They were going to be first on the ball, and Partey had a part to play in that. And he's having a brilliant season. I think Saliba, Nwaneri, Partey would be the three players that stood out for me. We don't really need to talk about Saliba and Gabriel. They're just solid. They're just calm. They're Rolls Royce defenders, And sometimes I said, a couple of games ago, oh, Saliba, he looks like he's just playing in first gear a bit. He's not really trying or in the zone. And, but today he was back to proper Saliba. And Saliba was never bad, but sometimes it's too easy. I can't explain it, but sometimes the way I can explain it, sometimes it feels like it's too easy for Saliba. Out of possession, for Arsenal did well as always. You bat them to win the second balls. You bat them in those kind of battles. And despite maybe not being the most fluid, they were very much in control. Very much in control. And I think that was as I mentioned earlier, I think that was a big win. I think they came out looking very good. I think they went up a gear. I thought it was a big gear. And I think to begin with in the second half, they really went at Brentford and they couldn't breathe. And I think I look at Arsenal, they need to be more threat and transition. They need a transition threat. Maybe they look at an Isak in the summer, and then they need someone that could potentially left 10 or maybe even left winger. That's going to be someone that can create, that can break down low blocks. You could look at a Xavi Simons. You could look in an Anthony Gordon. If you want transition threat, you've got Gordon. If you can't get Isak, maybe you could look at a Xavi Simons as player. There's rumours of Danny Olmo. Let me know what's down below. But I think Arsenal defensively good. Midfield, the defensive side of it's good. I think with Saka out, with Havertz out, the fact that they scored 3 goals, phenomenal. Merino also scoring good for confidence, but they definitely need maybe that extra firepower. Now, I thought Martinelli was excellent. I thought he played with a lot more confidence today. I thought he looked much more near his best. The step overs, the taking on his man. He was playing because he had the players around him to play off, and he did well when he was arriving late with the box instinct finishes, which is where Martinelli was at his best 2 years ago. And I felt like he had just discovered his ability to run in behind again, and he had the players around him, and he looked really good. The problem with Martinelli is he almost relies on those around him to be good, and sometimes when you play for a club like Arsenal, you need to be putting in performances, even if you haven't got quite the system around you, which is difficult, but it is. But Merino, Martinelli, and Jesus all got goals. I think they're all players that have got a little bit of stick lately. Obviously, Jesus is just in massive form. I think he's got 6 goals in his last 4 games. But that confidence will make a difference. I said Newcastle, they've got a 3-3 draw with Liverpool, and they've been playing with such confidence since. And I think that Newcastle have a good team. I mean, Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, Lewis Hall, Isak, Gordon. Newcastle have a very good team, but the confidence Newcastle have been playing with lately makes a difference. And that could make a big difference. With Saka out, if Martinelli and Jesus are playing with confidence, that will massively help Arsenal. And then I forgot to add my notes on Thomas Partey there, but I thought Thomas Partey was excellent today. I thought he was really, really good. I thought he put in a really good performance. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Arsenal's 3-1 win versus Brentford. Happy New Year to everybody watching. I hope you enjoyed today's review. Thank you for watching. Bye.